I bought this car from a friend of mine back a year or so ago. It's a 2002 Mustang GT with 4.6 two-valve engine. It's just kind of been sitting in the back of the shop since. I probably haven't driven it twice since I bought it. Not good for a car just to sit. So we're going to dial it up with a couple of things so that we can actually drive it safely on the road and get some enjoyment out of it. This isn't a make it into a hot rod type of video. We just got a nice old Mustang that we're going to make a little more comfortable and a little more safe to drive on the road. So if you're interested in that, you're in luck. This one's for you. Welcome to A&A. Let me just treat you to a walk around and kind of give you just a general, in general, describe the condition of the car. It's 2002, as I mentioned before, 4.6 two-valve engine. So, not a great deal of power, but, not really looking to drag race or anything like that. We just want something cool. We can comfortably drive on the road, enjoy it. One thing I noticed as I fired it up last week or whenever it was a lot of, it didn't sound smooth here in the front. It sounded like bearings going out of a pulley, kind of a rough, noisy, kind of grinding sound on the front of the engine. But, I knew that these idler pulleys, tensioner pulleys, you got two idlers, you got a tensioner. Those things get dry. There's no way to grease them, and especially from just sitting. So I ordered a kit. Gates makes the kit. Comes with a new tensioner that, of course, has the already mounted tensioner pulley. You got an idler pulley here and an idler pulley here. Of course, all those have new bearings in them. It also comes with this belt. And so for about, I think it was about $200, you can get that whole kit. And now when I start, she idles nice and smooth. There's no squeaking, rubbing noise up front. That was step one. Step two was we had a couple of bad coils. We replaced those, and I still had a miss. I couldn't figure out what it was. When you pull your pigtails off of your coil, don't get frustrated and rip the locking tab off of them. That locking tab is what holds that pigtail onto the plug. The coil. So I had to put me a fix on it right there. Something that will hold that plug tight onto the coil. Now she idles great, no misses. But I would imagine at some point we're going to replace the pigtail on that. And there's a couple of others broke, but this one is wanting to back off the coil, which is causing the misfire. You can pick those new pigtails up, pretty much any auto part store. All you do is you snip that one off and you're going to splice in the new one. So we may do that. Still has the original throttle body with the Mustang emblem on it. There are aftermarket ones that have a larger, intake on them, intake size on them that flow better. I don't know if we're going to do that or not. I think those are $200 to $300, so probably not. But anyway, this one has an old cold air intake on it. Filter's probably dirty. Right now it's okay. That's on the maybe list as well. As far as the engine compartment goes, you know, the 4.6s and the 5.4s, they were put in a lot of Ford vehicles around this year model, cars and trucks. So it's a pretty good engine. The 2 valves, they're pretty reliable. We're not going to do anything major with that. The front bumper, you know, she's seen better days. These are aftermarket headlights that, for the most part, are blown. So we're going to put some new headlights on it today. Have a, you know, a replacement fender. My friend I bought it from, I forget the story, let someone borrow it. When it came back, it had a dented fender. So the rest of the body, the paint, the striping, it's really nice. I mean, I'm really digging it. The rear of the car, it's in good shape, except for it's like somebody tapped him and cracked the paint there. We've got 2 different tail lights on it. This one's a lighter colored one, and this is a darker smoke colored one. So right now we're just going to leave those as they are. We got some bulbs to replace some bulbs in here, because I think 2 out of the 3 of these are burned out. We'll make sure about that one. But there are also some bulbs burned out of this third brake light. So we got some of those to replace those. You can replace the third brake light, you know, with a new LED model, but sometimes the LED options are not the best option, especially for the older cars. It just, you know, unless you're going to do the whole, you know, package LED, it just don't look right when you've got standard bulbs and then you got a nice LED sticking out like a sore thumb. So we just bought some bulbs that we're going to be replacing some bulbs in that. Let's come on around. The paint and the striping, I mean, it's, you know, it's nice. I like it. Interior. One major thing we're going to do with the interior is we have got to get, wow, we got to get some seats recovered. As far as the rear seat, there's no tears. It could definitely use a little cleaning, and we've got some stuff for that. But yeah, we're not gonna recover the back ones, or the back one. We are going, once we get these front bucket seats out to take to the upholsterer, we're probably gonna take the back ones out because we want to get this carpet out of the car. You know, we've got some cleaning to do, is what I'm trying to say. Missing a threshold plate, a seal plate, door seal plate right here. You can buy some replacement seal plates for other year models. Surprisingly enough, for this particular year model, I haven't been able to find them yet. So, not sure what we're going to do there. We may have to go salvage yard diving for that. The air conditioner does not work. The heat works. So I don't know what we're in store for there, if it's a leak that we can fix or a new compressor or whatever. But, you know, if we're going to be driving this in the summer times, today my goal is, we'll see how it goes. Got some new headlights to put on. Also, this is a straight shift manual transmission. The transmission makes a bit of a whining noise as I'm driving. I have no idea when or if the transmission fluid has been changed in it. So we're going to do that today. Also today, hopefully, we're going to do the rear differential fluid change in it. The condition of the engine oil looks good. It was about a half a quart low, and I can't remember if I changed it last year or not. I don't even know, but it was about a half quart low, and I had a half quart of Marvel Mystery Oil lurking around in the cabinet in there, so I poured the Marvel Mystery Oil in there. So we're going to drive it. Once we get all this done, we're going to drive it for, a while with the Marvel Mystery Oil in there. Hopefully, it'll help to, number one, it'll help lubricate. Number two, it'll help clean. So when we drop the oil, hopefully it will have, cleaned any stickiness that probably developed over the time it's been sitting. Let me show you what I had to do to, don't call OSHA. No need to bring, them into it. But so the the apron or the ramp to get up onto the shop floor right here, it's got a grade to it. So you have to get creative to get these cars that's just slammed. Got to get them off the ground a little bit. So got the ramp up like that. Trying to be as cautious as I can. Anyway, I got it up enough. I'll show you. So the transmission, it's draining. The drain bolt is on the bottom. That's good. I don't see the fill plug. I feel, with a lot of certainty that it's up there on the side of the thing there somewhere. There is one that you can see in the picture right there. However, there is a message stamped right beside it that clearly says "Do not remove." It also has a security fastener on it. You got to have the special socket to get in there to get it off. So that's not it, and we're certainly not going to remove that. But somewhere up above there's a fill hole. But even if I saw it, there's no way I can get to it in order to fill the transmission, because it's all I can do to get the drain pan underneath the drain plug. And that's me, basically reaching from here to try to get all that done. I mean, I don't have the facilities. You need a rack or a lift. I have neither. So I'll show you a little trick to how you can fill it without going in through the fill hole. All right, got you inside the car. I'll show you a little trick here. This nice piece right here will pull out, with the boot attached. So I've only got two hands, and one of them's holding the camera. So see if I can do it one-handed. All right, let's pull that off. This one has a, plug into the back of it for the cigarette lighter. I gotta lay you down for just a minute. So I got the cigarette lighter plug off. This boot has seen better days. I think it's actually supposed to be attached. Yeah, it's supposed to be glued to the bottom of that. So anyway, all right, so what we want to do is we're going to pop that in neutral. We're also going to take, there's 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, right here, 4. We'll take them 4 bolts out, and we're going to take this boot and plate out. Okay, I got those 4 little bolts out. This plate down here with this boot, now we can take it out. We should be able to work this out. Let's see if we can't get this off. Get it over here. All right. Now we are down to the shifter. We should be able to take 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts out, and this whole shifter should come out. Okay, we got their shifter out. 10 millimeter, 12 millimeter, 13 millimeter, 13 millimeter. Anyway, yeah, someone's obviously been in this before. Of course, there's a shifter there, the little doohickey on the bottom, the ball or whatever, fits in that cup. And that's where you get, you shifting from. So with that off, we should be able to put, our transmission fluid right in there. Okay, we've got got that transmission fluid drained, and while we were taking that shifter off, we just let it drip, so everything's out of it. I know what you're wondering. If you can't get to the fill hole, how do you know it when you get it full, and how do you know you don't have it over full? Well, we're going to measure what we took out. Now what's supposed to be in there is about 3.5 quarts of fluid. So what we should see is about 3.5 quarts of fluid. If this wind would stop blowing, if this blows over, it's really gonna make a mess. But let's see if we get about 3.5 quarts. It's looking kind of, it's really dark. I know it's been changed before because, well, I don't know it's been changed before. Someone has had the shifter top off, and my only guess is that, they were doing the same thing I'm doing right now. All right, we got a few tidbits in the pan from some motor oil that I had in it earlier before we started using this, so I'm just going to leave probably about that what was in it before. Is this exact? No. Does it have to be exact? No. Okay, let's see what we got in our jug here. All right, well, I can't see. All right, these are quarts. I can't see. 1, 2, is that 2? 3. Got almost 4. Got almost 4 quarts in there. A little over 4 quarts. So well, the book says 3.5. We took 4 out. I'm just gonna go just wild and crazy with it. I'm gonna put 4 back. We know that's what was in it for years. So I'm gonna put 4 back. Yep, I said it. All right, let's see if we can get it to go into the shifter hole. So I've got my funnel, just kind of got it sitting there in there where it'll just kind of sit by itself. The fluid I'm putting in, it's Valvoline's Synchromesh for manual transmissions. Okay, so now this is quart number 4. Once we get this in there, we can put our shifter back on. So as luck would have it, I did have some gasket material in there. So it's pretty simple, you know. You just cut width and length and cut a hole in the middle, and where your bolts go, you know, if you don't have a hole punch, I just take my drill, lay this on a piece of cardboard or scrap piece of wood, and I just drill them, because you want them pretty clean. And this material, if you try to punch a hole through with a screwdriver or something like that, you're probably going to tear this material. Then you got to start all over again, or worse, it'll leak when you put it on. So I've got my RTV on both sides, so this is going to seal up really well. All right, we got our shifter bolted back down good and tight. So the gasket material, along with the black RTV, it's going to seal that puppy up really good. Okay, we got our plate screwed back down. All right, that took longer than I had anticipated. We still need to replace the differential oil in the back. While we got the front kind of up in our teeth here, it's going to be easier for me to replace on these headlights. So you take that out, take that out, headlight slides out. Once again, folks, don't break your locking tabs off of things. You're probably going to need the locking tab later. All right, our new headlights are just a plug and play, where plug the original connector, plug the original connector. This stuff here is for these halo LED things. I might can get, no, probably not. Like I said, I might could get those connectors back off of it, but I'm just going to clip them as close as I can to the connector, put a little electrical tape on it. That's all I can do right now, but yep, let's try that. Them eBays, I know they've got some, there's a lot of stuff that's tempting on there. It looks good, halo LEDs, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't last, okay? It does not last. I bought plenty of them myself. I'm guilty of it. They don't last. All I'm gonna do is put this electrical tape around here. That way I don't have to actually try to get these connectors off. Just leave them on there. We'll put a little tape around them so we don't, accidentally make contact with something while the lights are on and short something out. No LEDs on this one. It did come with the bulbs though. I like that. Now, don't get me wrong about eBay now. These did come from eBay. But, if you're going to spend the money on the LED halos, you're going to have to get some brand name stuff, or it's not going to last. Now, the retainer clips on these pigtails, they've been deleted. So we don't have to worry about that. Have to get them on. All right, I think they're on. Hopefully they won't come off, but we'll see. Now for the side over here, there's nothing but a couple of holes, you know, these, you got two little studs on your light, and they're gonna fit into a couple of holes, and then you're just gonna slide this back on. You know, you're just gonna slide them back on like that. You're gonna take these little retainers that we pulled out earlier. Just gonna put them right back in. And when you're taking this apart, you'll see, you know, how they come out. You just pull them out. There's a tab on the back of this light. When you put it in, there's a little tab that sticks out the back here. You just slide this pin back in it. Again, somebody went ahead and leaded on the little retainer clips for us. I don't know if you can see it. See these little studs? There's two of them on the back of this light. They go in two holes right here. And then the only thing that really holds it in are these two clips that, you know, slide into these retainers on the back. These stick through those holes, so when they stick through the back, you just run them down there and it holds your light in. Not a lot of slack on this connector down here, so I gotta you don't really have to like eyeball the studs in the holes. You'll know if they're not sliding in. Just move your headlight over in place, start sliding it back. Alright, then your little tabs. The tab on the headlight have to come through the other hand. Oh, no. Oh, something's not sliding in place. Now they did. Take this, where those tabs are, you know, sliding through the back there. Just run those in. Lights are in. So take a look and see what they look like. Very nice, very nice. Not to mention, they work. So, starting out right away, tail lights, the left one, you got two bulbs out. So, I'm gonna hit the brake. Let's see if we got any more out. All right, what'd you see? Oh, okay, the brake lights look good except for the third brake light. All right, let me get some bulbs, we'll get them fixed. So first thing I'm gonna do is try to get our third brake light out. It's held on by a couple of little studs with nuts. 10 millimeter to take the nuts off the studs to get our third brake light out. So no bulb, bulb, no bulb, bulb. Alright, hey, what, let me just prop that, you know, right there. I'm gonna hit the brakes. Tell me what you see. All right, that was successful. So put these little screws back in. And once it starts getting a little snug, maybe you hear a little crunchy, it's time to stop. Now, you told me that the other brake lights, the one on the left, the center bulb was working, but the other two weren't. So, I don't know how to get this thing out, but I'm sure we can figure it out together. Let me show you what it is I'm looking at in here. If you look on the back where the tail light goes, there's one stud without a nut. There's two. There's one down there. There's one right there. I believe they have nuts. And then there's one. All right, so I got what nuts were on the studs off, and yep, that's what was holding it on. But my goodness, what in this world? What in this world? I don't even want to know. I believe what they were trying to do here was, some of the Mustangs, when you hit your brake light, the whole light just lights up. Some of them, when you hit your brake light, like these, it kind of goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I think this is probably one of those kits to make it do that. I don't know enough about Mustangs to know if it was supposed to do that originally or not, but this looks like an aftermarket kit. Anytime you see, all this, that's aftermarket. So that bulb was working. These two weren't. Probably be in our best interest to change all three. All right, we're just going to change all three of them. Well, that bulb is not blown. Not sure about number one. Let's do the old test, and I'm going to hit my brake lights again, and let's just see if they all will light up this time. Okay, so number one is still not working. When I hit the brakes, number two gets bright, but number three does not. Make sure we got the right bulb here. Okay, given that, something's not right about the tail lights and the brake lights on this here, I know I have three good bulbs. What I don't know is, is this mess here any good? I do not know. I do not know. I would suspect what I'm going to do next is purchase probably a salvage yard tail light that still has, the OEM pigtails harness deal. I don't know if I can buy that separately or not, but that's what I need because, like most of this Chinese stuff, that's garbage. So, see if I can't find the OEM stuff for that. This one on the passenger side seems to be working okay, but I just need to go back OEM with this because it's not working. No, that's a good bulb. It's a brand new bulb. So either this electrical piece here or this electrical piece here or maybe this connection right here, I don't know. Something's not right. So it's best just to put it back stock and then, it'll work. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to change the differential gear oil in this rear end. Of course, it's getting kind of dark on me today. That will probably be tomorrow. It just depends. Depends on what the missus is doing inside. You know, she may want to go eat or something like that. In that case, she takes precedence. Sorry, guys. This is the point at which my really nice cordless mic that I purchased for, a whopping $20 on Amazon decided to fail me. Just going to narrate for you from here on out. So, got the car back up on the jack stands, backed up on it, and I'm going to show you how tight it is to get up under here. That's your differential right there, the one with the big greasy dirt mess all over it. It's obviously been leaking at some point in its life. And that's a sway control arm, sway bar right across the front of it. The reason it's right across the front is because we're on ramps and the car's not jacked up. But we got to crack that thing loose and see what's in there. So we got it cracked open. The nice stinky gear oil has drained out. And if you had the car jacked up, that bar would be lower out of the way. If you're like me and run it up on jack stands like this, you have to take one side of that sway bar loose in order to pry it away from your differential cover enough to get the cover out. So we're going to get that cover out. We're going to clean it up. And we only got less than a quart of differential fluid out of it. So it was really bad low. Smelled really bad. And you'll need a 1/2-inch socket to get those differential cover bolts out. The fill hole is, you can't see it. It's up above that flat part that's sticking out. But that's where we have to fill it at. That'll get tricky. You'll need a pump of some kind to do it, effectively without getting gear oil all over you and the ground and everything else. 1/2-inch socket to get those bolts out. Okay, we got the cover on the bench here. We got our nice cleaned up best we could. The inside of that thing was really like baked on black, really bad, where the oil was hot because there wasn't much oil in there at all, and it was low. So if you watch the differential cover we did on the truck, we just used some RTV that's 4 gear oil applications. Here I actually want to kind of, since we had evidence of it had leaking before and it was low, I kind of want to go overkill on it. So I've got the differential cover gasket, and we're also going to use the black RTV that's oil resistant, and we're going to put a coat on the differential cover. We're going to lay the gasket on it, then we're going to put a coat on top of the gasket there. So I've got the black RTV silicone or RTV gasket maker. It's even got a picture of a differential on the package, so you know you're in the right spot. It's also high temperature resistant. Remember, when you've drained your differential and you've got your cover cleaned up, before you start prepping this to go on, make sure the inside of the differential is cleaned out good. A lot of times you'll have some sediment inside the bottom of that differential. Make sure you got your rubber glove on and a couple of shop towels, paper towels, and reach in there and wipe all that out, mop all that stuff out, because the contaminants tend to rest on the bottom there. Some differentials have a little sump in the front of them, you'll want to get in there and clean all that out as best as you possibly can. And it is a very nasty job, by the way. So here I'm just going to put a, thin bead all the way around. Now I'm skipping bolt holes because, right now we're just getting the sealant on the cover. We're going to go back, with our finger and smooth that out, and we're going to actually go around the bolt holes at that point. These covers are just sheet metal, they're pretty thin sheet metal. A lot of times they get over torqued and they can get warped and all that kind of thing, which is why you don't torque them, like in sequence around the edge of it. You do a star pattern, or something like that to get them all kind of going down to where you don't warp the cover. So I've got I just placed the gasket on it loosely there, and so now we're going to put another thin bead around on the gasket, so you'll have the gasket that is sandwiched between the sealant or the RTV gasket maker there. Hopefully this will probably be the last differential oil change that the car will see for a number of years, because I don't drive it much, if really at all, really. That's why we're doing this, is so I can drive it just a little bit more, because it's not good for cars just to sit. They do, moisture creeps in, and then you start having issues and problems. So we're going to try to drive it occasionally, keep the lubrication going in it, keep the moisture out of it, keep things operating like they should. Okay, and just like on the bottom part, what I'm going to do is smooth that out, go around each bolt hole. At this point, we've got the cover back on. We've got the bolts snugged up and torqued. We reattached the other end of that sway bar back where we found it, and everything's looking good at this point, good and sealed up. And so now what we have to do is we are going to have to get the fill plug out and get our pump and start. We're going to start pumping some fluid into our. Well, there's the fill plug that I took out. It's magnetic, so you'll see some. There I am trying to show you it's magnetic, but you have to take my word for it. The metal particles that are, normal wear in the differential stick to that, so they don't stay suspended in the gear oil, as an abrasive to the gears. So you'll want to clean that off, clean all that. It's kind of like a paste is what it looks like. Clean it off, get your little brake parts cleaner and clean it off real good, get as much off as you can. So the way I got it out was, you're going to take a 3/8 extension on a 3/8 ratchet, go on the inside of that bolt that I'm pointing to right there, and pretty much just kind of go straight in, and you'll have to feel for it, because it's a blind. You're doing that blindly because you can't get your head in there. You can get a mirror up to see it, but still you're going to have to get your ratchet extension up in there, and you're going to be blind. I've got the my little bottle with the pump. Got it hooked into the fill hole, and I'm pumping fluid in. it's going to take a while. 2 quarts with a little hand pump like that, it takes a minute. You're going to have to rest a few times because it's going to wear your arm out, being in the position you're in and trying to pump 2 quarts through a little tiny pump. But it's better than trying to turn the you know, that quart bottle upside down with the tube stuck to it and squeezing on it. I can promise you that. All right, we've got some drips coming out of the fill hole, so she is full. But you're gonna let it sit there and do that for a minute till the drips slow down to you know, almost nothing, and then you can put your plug back in. This is going to be the end of part 1 of our Mustang revamp series. There's going to be probably maybe 3 videos. This is the first one. The second one's going to be, we're going to do brakes, brake lines, brake calipers, because we have an issue with the front of the car. It seems like the brakes are constantly on. I don't know if it's a problem with the parking brake. I don't know if it's a problem with the brake calipers. You know, if you've got a brake hose that's collapsed, then you mash the brakes, it lets fluid into the caliper, but you know, there's not enough pressure for it coming back out, so the brakes kind of stay on all the time. And that's what it feels like when you're driving the car. You know, the steering's a little unstable. It's a little unstable on the steering, and when you come to a stop, kind of a rolling stop, it comes to a stop like the brakes are on. I feel of the you know, the center of the hub when I park the car at the shop. I reach down and feel the hub, and it's not hot, but I'm just not sure what the cause is. So that'll be in part 2 as well. The interior job is going to be probably a little extensive because we got to get seats recovered. That may be part 3. Not sure at this point, but this will be it for part 1. I don't want to just, you know, put you guys into a coma. So continue to watch. I really appreciate you guys that watch. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. Hit the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell so you'll know when the new videos are coming out. Have a good day. Thank you for watching. But, you know, above all else, just remember, be kind to one another.